Hello. Hey guys. Welcome. Hello. So we want to welcome all the viewers that's tuned in here. Um, we're gonna start pretty soon. Just some mic problems, but as you guys all know, we had a we're having a big schedule tonight, like in the NBA. But before we talk about that, I would like to guys to let you know that Steph Curry had a wonderful game last night, and that obviously we've been waiting to talk about Steph Curry as he's he has he hasn't been like in people's mind as best point guard in NBA. Everyone's on Damian Lillard's side, but what has Damian Lillard done? Has gone to the playoffs, yes, but he hasn't won a title. And Steph Curry has experience and have his resume for that. He's won championships. He's been to consecutive NBA finals. And Damian Lillard hasn't been to the finals. And yes, people are going to say, oh, uh, Steph had KD, Steph had this, Steph had that. But in 2015, Steph Curry and the Warriors reached the finals. And it was without Kevin. Sorry about that, but it was without KD. And and yes, the Warriors drafted Steph. The Warriors drafted Clay. The Warriors drafted Draymond. And all these players weren't like big time, but Steph Curry carried that Warriors team. And even though Andre Iguodala won that year, I still think Steph Curry carried the Warriors. And he has experience of carrying a team to a championship. And he has done that multiple times. And yesterday it was just time. It was time for Steph Curry to show because people do not believe that Steph Curry is the same player that he once was. Steph Curry for me is the same player. It's the same exact player that he's been, and that you have to give him that because he scored 62 points last night. And Draymond had 0 points. You got Wiggins, who has struggled all season long. He had what, 18 points? But he struggled all year long. James Wiseman is still trying to get used to playing big minutes. And all the other players are straight up garbage. Like, that's why Steph Curry needed to remind people that he's still one of the best shooters ever to play the game. And you could see how he was shooting the ball last night. And you know that the Golden State Warriors need Draymond Green. They need Steph Curry. They need all these players that have been struggling for the first 6 games. And that's what you saw yesterday. You should see that away, and that you have to give where credit is due. Because the Golden State Warriors doesn't run by Kent Bazemore, doesn't run by Eric Pascal. No, it runs by Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green. And yes, Klay Thompson is out for the whole season. Again, he'll miss his second straight season. But Steph Curry is still the player he once was. And you have to give credit where credit is due. Damian Lillard, I don't care what you have to say, but Damian Lillard is not Steph Curry. And Steph Curry is much better than Damian Lillard. Because Damian Lillard was not a good passer until last season and this season. He wasn't a good passer. He's obviously not a better shooter than Steph Curry. Because look, what did Damian Lillard do against the Lakers? He had one good game. And yes, he got injured. But before his injury, what did he do? Nothing. And the year before, what did he do against the Golden State Warriors, who didn't play against Durant because he got injured and they got swept from the floor? And the year before, and what about the year before and the year before that? Damian Lillard is not Steph Curry. And I don't think Damon is even close to the level that Steph Curry is. And that people's gotta stop, man. People gotta stop comparing Dame Lillard or Dame Dollar, whatever you want to call him, to Steph Curry. Steph Curry, and I'm not telling you this because Steph Curry scored 62 points. No. Steph Curry is much better than Damian Lillard. And any day of the week, I'd pick Steph Curry to run my squad. Because yes, Lillard scored 32, but he's not a great defender as well. And Curry is not a great defender as well, too. But he can get it done. He can get you a ring. He can get you that 3-pointer. If and this is the thing about Steph Curry, that if he doesn't shoot from three, but he grabs boards, he grabs dimes, he gets steals. Oh, Steph Curry always gives his all. Even though they got blown out by Brooklyn, he still grabbed your assists, your 10 assists. And that's why Steph Curry is much better. And all the talk that Steph Curry is not the player he once was is over. And the 62 points was the last day that people start hating on him. Because people hated on Steph Curry. And they need to stop. They need to stop. And it's really disrespectful as people are not treating Steph Curry the way he's supposed to be treated because he's a superstar in this league. And all you viewers and everyone that's listening, you guys know it that Steph Curry is much better than all these point guards that you see. But we want to. It was a beautiful game by Steph Curry, and it was a big, big win by the Golden State Warriors. And obviously, that Steph Curry needed to score that many points. He needed to score that many points, and that's why they need Draymond. And yes, it's his second game, but the first game he barely played. Played what, like 14 minutes? He played like 14 minutes and he didn't do much. And the next game, he had 8 assists. And those assists were really important. And that's why not only does Steph Curry needs Draymond, but the Warriors need Draymond Green. He's a key piece for the Golden State Warriors. And next that we want to talk about is I told you guys that what Kyrie has been saying ever since he left the Cavaliers, he should just close his mouth because he kept saying that, oh, I I'm happy that I could be like, oh, I have another MF that can make that shot too. But all the game winners in Cleveland, other than Kyrie's in the finals, who was it? It was LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. Shit, that is disrespectful. And even LeBron said it himself that he was hurt that that Kyrie thinks that LeBron didn't do much. LeBron did everything for Kyrie. He he literally gave the keys, as he said, to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie took the most. If you go see the stats in the playoffs in the regular season, Kyrie Irving took more jump shots, more field goal attempts than LeBron James. Kyrie had the ball more than LeBron. He gave the team to Kyrie. And that Kyrie Irving, to this day, cannot accept that LeBron James carried his his drama ass to the finals. And yes, Kyrie Irving might deserve the Finals MVP that season. He might deserve that MVP in the finals because Kyrie played well, but LeBron James did everything. He led the team all the Cavs finals appearances. If you go, LeBron James led the team in points, led the team in rebounds, in assists, in blocks, in steals, and in minutes. And that Kyrie should put respect on LeBron James' name and need to stop saying all the crazy ass things that he's been saying. Because he said, I am glad that I'll have the MF dude that can make that shot too. But you saw yesterday against a 1-4 Washington Wizards, the worst team in NBA, and that they had two good looks. And when I say good looks, it means wide open, clear looks. Kyrie Irving had a wide open jump shot at the buzzer for three. He clanked it. And then KD had a wide open jump shot in the paint, where that's where he makes his money, and he missed it as they lost to the lowly Washington Wizards. And he couldn't get it done. But I thought you said that you're happy that you have a guy that can make that shot too. Because we both know that the clutchest player between all three guys is number 23, LeBron. And that Kyrie Irving needs to put some damn respect on LeBron's name. And I'm tired of hearing what KD says, not KD, but what Kyrie Irving says off the court is crazy. And that he needs to keep his mouth shut. Because the more he talks, the more he struggles. Because why did he leave the Cleveland Cavaliers? Because he thought that it's his time to to take over a team, to carry a team. It's time to be the number one guy. Okay, the Cavs traded him to Celtics. They did what he wanted to do. They fulfilled his needs. They sent him to the Celtics, and they played the Bucks in the second round. And what happened? Kyrie Irving was the reason they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. He had one good game in game one, but from game two to game five, he shot under 30% from the field. And he didn't let other teams get going. He didn't average more than 7 assists in that round. He didn't do nothing. And they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. And what happened? He left the Celtics and joined the Brooklyn Nets. And this time, he will not get a pass. Even though that I didn't give him a pass for losing to the Milwaukee Bucks. He lost to the Bucks, and I didn't like his performance. And for him to leave after he promised to the Celtics fan in Boston before a game that he's gonna resign here, and then leave the way that he left and go to Brooklyn and team up with Kevin Durant, and that wasn't well for him. And don't get me wrong, when you're a free agent, you're free to do what you want, but you can't give a promise to someone and not do it. As Kyrie Irving promised the Boston Celtic fans in Boston before a game that he will resign. And what did he do? He literally gave up on the Celtics against the Bucks. He shot abysmal from three. He was one of the worst 3-point shooters in the playoffs. He didn't get Jason Tatum going. He didn't get Jaylen Brown going. He didn't let anybody go. And why do you think Al Horford left the Celtics and joined the Philadelphia 76ers? Because there was no chemistry. Kyrie Irving is a locker room problem. And that he's the veteran on that team. He was supposed to be the leader of that team. Not just shoot abysmal from the field and then leave the way he leaves and give a promise to the Celtic fans. And that was horrible by Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving, this time, he will not get a pass if he gets bounced out of the playoffs to a garbage team. Because you'll see, once the playoffs start, Kyrie Irving will struggle. And that KD will need to carry his sorry ass. And that Kyrie needs to not open his mouth and start talking nonsense to the media. Because that's what Kyrie Irving has been doing ever since he left the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that it is time to get serious. Kyrie Irving needs to get serious and win a title for the Nets. And win it with Kevin Durant. For people to say, okay, Kyrie Irving is a bad man. He's a real baller. But he can't be going off the court and starting some drama between LeBron James, between the Cavs, between the Celtics, and all that drama that he's been starting. And we both know, again, I told you, the clutchest player between KD and Kyrie and LeBron, you guys all know that LeBron James is the most clutch. And you guys think, oh, clutch player is only buzzer beater. No, clutch player is buzzer beater, game winners, and showing up large in big games, in big staged games. But that's about it about Kyrie Irving. But we'll talk about more. But first, we will previewing tonight's game. So the first game is the Cleveland Cavaliers will play the Orlando Magic in Orlando. Both teams have surprising record, and both teams are 4-2. And the both teams have been having surprising players that's been going on. Example, for the Magic, Terrence Ross is averaging 22 points a game. And for the Cavs, is Colin Sexton. But this should be a great game, but we will see who's going to win. Next game is the struggling Charlotte Hornets. Will play the red hot 76ers. 76ers have been playing well, but we need Simmons to be more aggressive. We need Embiid to do what he's been doing, but we need Ben Simmons to be more aggressive. And for the Hornets, I really think that they should start thinking of starting rookie LaMelo Ball. Because clearly you're not using him properly. And that's why you are 2-4 on the season. And that they need to use LaMelo Ball more. That's what I really think, that it's like through 6 games, you saw Rose. Yes, you can keep Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, point out, but you should put LaMelo Ball starting, because clearly LaMelo off the bench is clearly not working. Next, for the Knicks and the Hawks, the Knicks are coming off a victory against what was the 4-1 Pacers. It was a huge win. And the player that's been playing really well this season is Julius Randle. RJ had like two great games, but and yes, he had a big game against the Pacers, but Randle has been the most consistent. And you need RJ to keep shooting the ball efficiently and to get his teammates going. And you gotta give props to Randle, who's also playing basically the point guard position, as he's averaging more than 7 assists a game. But for the Hawks, they're 4-2, but Trey Young hasn't been the, the aggressive the way we want him to be, and he needs to be more aggressive. He needs to shoot more, shoot better from three. Keep getting to the free throw line, but he needs to shoot more. Because clearly, when he doesn't score a lot, the team is likely to lose. Next thing, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder will play the Miami Heat in Miami. Both teams are 2-3. Both teams have surprising wins. And for the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler has struggled mightily this season, especially since he got injured. So expect Jimmy Butler to have a big game also. Bam, had a bye. Next game is the Boston Celtics and the surprising, disappointing Toronto Raptors. As the Celtics are 4-3 and are coming off a buzzer beater win. Not buzzer, but a game winner with 1 second remaining game of a Jason Tatum pull up. The Celtics have been really clutch in the fourth quarter, as Jalen Brown is averaging more than 28 points a game, and so is Jason Tatum. But I expect Tatum to have a big game and Brown as well. And for the Raptors, it's a lot of question marks and whys and what, but expect Lowry to have a big game. Expect steady Fred VanVleet to keep scoring the way he's been scoring, and expect other players. OG, who struggle from three in their loss against the Pels, expect him to have a big game, and expect Boucher. They need to play Chris Boucher because clearly he is a better player than Alex Len or Aaron Baines. And the Raptors need to win this one. They don't want to go 1-5 because if they lose this game, the more question marks will be added. What are they gonna do with Nick Nurse? Are they gonna trade for James Harden? Are they gonna trade Lowry, who's the last year of his contract? Are they gonna keep Fred VanVleet? Are they gonna? You don't know what's gonna on, and you just want to have more winning championship environment in the locker room because right now the locker room is not that great. So next we got the Indiana Pacers will play the Pels. The Pels are coming off a victory against Toronto, and the Pacers are coming off a loss to the surprising Knicks. And the player that's surprising for the Pacers is Malcolm Brogdon, the player that the Milwaukee Bucks did the worst mistake of their lives by letting go, Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon, who's averaging 22.2 points a game, and he's been playing well. He had a big 3-point performance against the Knicks, but they couldn't get it done. And Brandon Ingram is keep playing the way he's been playing. He's continue off last season amazing season performance, and expect Ingram and expect Lonzo Ball to have to have a better to be more important in the game because lately he hasn't been like he hasn't been doing the way he's been doing, like grabbing his 10 assists and being more in the offense. Because now all he does is play defense, shoot threes, and toss alley oops to Zion. But expect Lonzo Ball to have a better shooting performance and all around performance. And the Pelicans are expect the Pelicans to get Zion uh, some shots early on and get him going because he had that 30-point game 2 games ago, but expect Zion to score more, to to have more stats, to be more involved in the offense. Next, we got the Mavericks and the Rockets. James Harden is questionable, but James Harden is averaging 37 points. And even though with all his drama in the offseason, James Harden is still James Harden. So if Harden plays, expect Harden to have a big game. And for the Mavs, Luka Doncic is questionable as he's suffering a quad strain. So I expect Jalen Brunson to start again, as Jalen Brunson had 31 points, 5 boards, and 8 dimes against a win against the Chicago Bulls last night. So I expect Brunson to start, and that's going to be a tough matchup for Jalen Brunson, as he is going to guard either James Harden if he plays or John Wall. And Porzingis is not returning just yet, and we hope that he can return because he is a key key piece of the Mavs, and obviously Luka Doncic. And John Wall has been starting off strong this season. Christian Wood, who had an amazing game last game, 20 points and 15 rebounds. He's averaging over 17 points and 11 rebounds. He is he is a key signing that the Rockets did, and that the Knicks should have signed him, but he decided to go. Jeez. Next game, we got the struggling Detroit Pistons, who are 1-5. They face the Milwaukee Bucks, who are disappointing as well, but they're 3-3. Expect the Bucks to come with a blowout, but the Pistons are not easy to beat. Well, yes, they're 1-5, but they got better. They're a better team than last season. Is Jeremy Grant, who the Denver could have kept, but he was interested in a new role, as Jeremy Grant's averaging 22.8 points a game. As you know, Giannis is only averaging 23.5. So expect the Bucks to pull up a victory. And the Pistons wins, there's gonna be question marks for the Bucks. The last game of the night is the Sacramento Kings, who will face Steph Curry and the Warriors. And the Kings are playing well, but not too well, but they're playing well. And I really think they should really play Marvin Bagley more and Hassan Whiteside, because Buddy Hill will do his thing, Speedy Fox will do his thing, but you need Marvin Bagley more, especially when Marvin Bagley's father tweeted that they should trade his son, because clearly they're not using him well, as they haven't been using him well since he came back from injury last two couple seasons ago. And for the Warriors, expect Steph Curry to have a great game once again. Maybe he'll go for 50. I don't know. But I don't think so. But expect Steph Curry to play good, and expect Draymond Green to play more minutes and to score more. And yes, he hasn't scored a point yet, but expect him to play more. But, like, it's only the start of the season. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, they're having a bad start. They're having a good start." Right now, the most disappointing team in the East is obviously the Toronto Raptors and the Washington Wizards. As the Wizards are 2-5, and Raps are 1-4. And in the West, the most disappointing team. There's clearly no disappointing team, as every team is 2-4, 2-4. Um, but I'm happy that the Suns are playing well, and the Clippers are, all their losses were blowout losses. So expect them to have a better next couple of games. But thanks for and a lot of people has asked me, should the Rockets trade James Harden? I think that they should try and see how things will turn out with John Wall and with John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Christian Wood. But I think that right now, Harden is balling. So right now, he's not injured. So right now, his value is super high, and that you. And yes, maybe he's down because of what happened in the offseason. But I think the Rockets have a lot of offers on the table for James Harden, and that I really think they should try and see how John Wall and James Harden will work. But guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check us out at, on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, on Sportscaster, and all your music apps. It's the Grind Never Stops podcast. And if you want to join me as a co-host or even a host, and you want to help out with the podcast, you can send me an email at fansportsclothing.com, and want to shout all the people that listening to this podcast, and I want to shout out all the people that's been following me since day one. Thank you a lot, and happy new year, guys, and make sure to tune in tonight, as I will do the play by play for the games going underway tonight. The first game that I will do is the Boston Celtics against the Toronto Raptors. And then the second game I will do is the Golden State Warriors, who are home to the Sacramento Kings. And obviously, I will update you on the other games as the games go along. But make sure to tune in tonight. You can check me out at sportscaster.com/grind never stops podcast. And make sure to check us out on iTunes, on Apple Music as well, and on Apple Podcasts. So thanks everyone who has tuned in. I appreciate you guys. Peace.